If you've spent literally any time on social media lately, you've probably heard this soaring, just completely agonizing track playing in the background of some incredibly emotional videos. Today, we're diving into the massive cultural resurgence of Ana Gabriel's absolute legend of a hit, Quién como tú. We're going to break down exactly why this 1989 power ballad is suddenly finding this whole new life today. Because it's a totally universal question, right? Have you ever loved someone you just couldn't have? We're going to look at why millions of people right now are belting out a pop power ballad from 1989, channeling this intense, agonizing heartbreak that, honestly, in a lot of cases, isn't even theirs. It's such a fascinating psychological and cultural phenomenon. So let's start with part one, the Diva of America. Before we actually unpack the poetry of the song itself, we kind of have to understand the absolute powerhouse who sings it. Born Maria Guadalupe Araujo Young in Mexico, Ana Gabriel has sold over 40 million records worldwide, totally earning her the title La Diva de America. She's just incredibly versatile icon. She seamlessly blends Latin pop, romantic ballad, and ranchera. And here's a super fascinating detail about her history. She didn't even receive formal vocal training. Instead, she actually credits her maternal grandfather, who was a Chinese immigrant to Mexico, for providing literally the only singing coaching she ever got. And that brings us to a massively pivotal year in her career, 1989. In late 89, she released the album and its title track, Quién como tú. Now, to say it was a huge success is honestly an understatement. The album absolutely dominated the Billboard Latin Pop Albums chart, spending 48 weeks there. And the single shot straight to #1 on the Hot Latin Songs chart by May 1990. It even earned her a highly coveted Grammy nomination in 1991 for Best Latin Pop Performance. Which leads us right into part two, unpacking the lyrics. So why does this certified hit so hard emotionally? Well, it's really all in the raw agony of the verses. The song opens with this incredibly intimate, melancholic observation. She sings, quote, "The scent of his pillow, you know it well." It immediately sets the stage for a deeply tragic story. The narrator is observing the physical, intimate details of a relationship that she is completely locked out of. It's the ultimate story of unrequited or maybe impossible love. And this brilliantly illustrates the title phrase of the song. Quién como tú literally translates to who like you. But metaphorically, the sentiment is way heavier. It translates much more accurately to lucky you, or this painful, agonizing, why isn't it me? She's basically asking, who is as lucky as you are to have him fall asleep in your arms? This brings up a huge debate, which is part three, the love triangle theories. Because this deeply personal framing has actually sparked a massive debate among listeners for years. Like, what is her actual relationship to the couple? If you look at discussions on platforms like Reddit, fans are completely divided on this. Is she the other woman, the so-called side chick, singing bitterly to the wife who gets him in the light of day? Or is she just a secret crush who was never brave enough to confess her feelings, and now she's forced to watch him move on with someone else? To try and answer that, a lot of fans point to specific lyrics where she says, "Watching how you talk to him about love, time doesn't stop, and I have nothing to wait for even if I stay in the air." These lines strongly suggest the narrator is just agonizingly watching the romance unfold from the outside. She is a total spectator to her own heartbreak, with nothing left to do but wait in the air, completely powerless. And that intense emotion fuels part four, a timeless cultural catharsis. Because it is absolutely incredible that a song released way back in 1989 is currently taking over the internet in the 2020s. On platforms like TikTok and Lemonade, there is this massive trend, often tagged with things like #90 in a 30. Users are posting videos of themselves just crying, screaming, and passionately singing to this exact song. But here is the really fascinating part. A lot of them are happily married. They're actually pointing out the sheer irony that they are crying their eyes out to a song about impossible love, specifically to honor their parents' pain. You'll see captions like, "Singing my lungs out to this song on behalf of my mom's hurt." The trend honestly works perfectly, and it just illustrates why Ana Gabriel's music has endured the way it has. It offers this totally timeless, therapeutic experience that genuinely bridges generations. Younger listeners are merging 1990s nostalgia with a modern appreciation for themes of resilience and heartbreak. By singing these agonizing lyrics, they're tapping into a shared human emotion, processing not just their own past heartbreaks, but really the generational trauma and emotional struggles of the women who raised them. So, at the end of the day, the crucial point is how you interpret this heartbreak masterpiece.
Are we listening to a guilty secret lover or a paralyzed admirer watching her own heartbreak from afar? And more importantly, have you ever experienced an impossible love that makes you understand exactly how she feels? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so definitely drop a comment below with your own theories and stories. And if you enjoyed unpacking this classic track, make sure to follow for more explainers just like this one. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.